It was a quiet Saturday morning.
Zelensky, get a rest! It's Saturday!
Professor Wayne Zelinsky was hard at work on his new invention.
This thing works. It'll put us right up there with the invention of electricity.
That didn't quite work.
Did you get the machine to work?
A few more bucks to get out.
Then something quite unexpected
Where are
happened.
the kids?
I haven't seen them since I left this morning.
It shrunk the kids.
Nick, what happened?
It works. Diane, I got something real important to tell you.
Are you trying to tell me?
The machine works? Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know.
That's great!
It's not that great.
Why?
I shrunk the kids, and the Thompson kids too. They're about this big. Threw them out with the trash.
What?
They're in the backyard.
Walt Disney Pictures presents The Last Frontier.
Dad can fix us, right, Nick? Sprinklers!
I'll tell you their size. It's a jungle out there.
Nicky, get out of there!
Now, while the professor is looking for the kids,
Just gotta keep our eyes open.
they're taking matters into their own hands.
I say that hand is ours.
They better behave themselves.
Something's very weird here.
What is it? Earthquake!
Rick Moranis is Professor Wayne Zelinsky.
Are you saying that machine
Blew up my kid?
No. If the machine had blown up the kids, there'd be pieces of them everywhere.
Wayne, did you report some missing children?
Well, there must be some mistake. Ours are in the backyard. Right, honey?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
We're all the size of boogers!
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That is the movie that I will be reviewing. And I will be doing that right after this wonderful message when Pizza Hut used to be good.
Back, all your friends from the land before time are available on video cassette. And now Pizza Hut has a special offer for you and your family. When you enjoy your favorite pizza from Pizza Hut, you can get one of 2 new Land Before Time dinosaur puppets. Spunky Little Petrie for 99 cents. Or Mighty Shark Tooth for $1.49. Supplies are limited, but you can get yours from Pizza Hut before they become extinct.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that commercial. Hopefully that took you back to when Pizza Hut was good. Or for those younger viewers who just decided to watch, yes, these were commercials that we can look forward to. And yes, those hand puppets I did, oh no, I didn't have any. That's right, because I was allergic to pizza. Somebody is waving their hand. Oh yes, my wonderful bride-to-be got a bunch of them on eBay from yours truly. I bought them for her as a Christmas present, but she has decided not to talk. Can we encourage her to talk, please? Oh, I'm just getting a big shake of no. So yes, this was and notice how they never introduced to get Littlefoot. They introduced the Sharptooth and I think Petrie was the other one. So anyways, so now Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Of course, this movie came out in 1989, and why do I say of course? Oh, because it actually looks decent. So and of course this stars Rick Moranis, and this came out in 1989, and Rick Moranis was in Little Shop of Horrors, Spaceballs, which we just reviewed, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Parenthood, My Blue Heaven. He was Lewis. The one that Dana, the one that had a crush on Dana, he was Zool in the first one, the big giant dog. Yes, he was in the first 2. Oh yes, he was also in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves. He was not in the TV show, which I forgot about. Let's see. There was a TV show, yes. He was in the movie Bully with Tom Arnold. That could be why he retired from acting. He was also in Little Giants. So he has been around, and apparently, like I said, from Spaceballs, apparently I look like him. I don't know how true it is, but please comment below. Nobody has commented on that yet. So I'm just going to assume that I do not. Here's what I would look like with glasses. See if that changes anybody's mind. Okay, We will see what happens. That was just a split thing that I just decided to do. So, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which I forgot what the big movie was in 1989, but I know we've done that year a lot, probably because there were a lot of good movies that came out that year. So I believe the Ninja Turtles movies did. So, yes, I don't know how I let this one slip by. It was most likely the '89 Batman, which I really should have known. That is a Jeremy Johns mistake on my part. But like I said, at least I admit my mistakes. Jeremy Johns makes many of them. So, Matt Frewer is in this. He did the voice of the Pink Panther for the short stint that was on. It was he did that for 60 episodes. He plays Big Russ Thompson, who is the neighbor next door. Mauricia Strassman is also in this movie. She was in the movie Tremors, which is my wonderful future wife's favorite movie of all time. And Christine Sutherland is also in this, and we know her. She is Buffy's mother from the Buffy the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show, not Batman. And no, she is not related to Donald or Kiefer Sutherland. She actually got that name from her cat. She named her cat Sutherland after Donald Sutherland. Those are the four adults in this movie who starred, and then we do have obviously the children. We have Amy O'Neill. She plays the oldest kid to I forgot the to Rick Moranis's character. I forgot his name for some reason. Oh, I know his last name. I forgot his first name. Nick Zielinski's the kid. So, um, Amy Zielinski is the daughter, and it's played by Amy O'Neill, who was in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid and an episode of The Twilight Zone. So, not real. The kids really aren't known for anything. Russ Thompson he was the kid in Big. He was in, I think, Cry of the Wild, and he was also in the movie Overboard. That's really the only things that he was in. And then Thomas Wilson, who plays Little Russ Thompson, um, he was in Pearl Harbor. He played a young flyer in that movie. And Nick Zielinski who was the youngest kid. He was apparently in Edward Scissorhands and Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. So those were really the only movies that these children were in. So the story is incredibly simple. It's Rick Moranis' character, Mr. Zielinski. He has this really nifty looking machine that is really actually it's really big for what it does. It shrinks it shrinks things to he wants to do it, I believe, for furniture moving because he probably has a hard time moving solid oak because somebody brought to my attention that he is dorky looking. So maybe lifting furniture or maybe lifting styrofoam is challenging for him. He's no, he is not a frog. So, but I think that was the thing. He wanted to shrink objects so things would be easier to move, and furniture was one of the things that he brought up. So he tries it on apples, something small, and the apple explodes, and then he makes a joke that, oh well, we found a way to make applesauce. So he almost gets it to work. He just has to get the bugs out, and right now it's making things explode. So the kids stumble on it. Russ Thompson hits a baseball through their window. It goes on the machine, and then it shrinks his chair. It shrinks his couch. So with the baseball sitting on top of it, for some reason, that's what actually makes things shrink instead of blowing them up. So then the kids go upstairs to get the ball, and the machine aims at them and zaps them. So now the kids are shrunk. And they go in the garbage bag, they go in the backyard. So now everything looks like a jungle. So now they're dodging insects and sprinkler systems. And eventually they stumble on an ant, a scorpion, and a lawnmower. Which, by the way, is yes, everything in that house is pretty much it's the American style today. It makes the household very, very lazy. It does everything for them, pretty much. Even the dog gets his own treats. I guess the dog does more exercise than any of the kids in that house because he goes out and gets the mail, he brings it in, he gets himself treats. So that is pretty much the entire story. So now I will show the first clip right off the bat, and I will show you his wonderful machine. So this is the really big machine here. So this is by Disney. So Disney really wanted to make this thing huge and fancy. So I did not get the part with the apple because, well, one, I forgot it was the first scene, and also because we really have to be careful with our 6 second limit because, God forbid, Disney doesn't like free advertising. So we meet Wayne. His name is Wayne. So Wayne Zelinsky is going to be pitching his machine at some type of in, is in some type of conference that morning, which is held on a Saturday. So obviously, these are people that just love to work. So now we will get to meet Russ Thompson, the wonderful neighbor next door, and let's just see what a loving man he is. He is planning on taking his wonderful family camping. Well, let's see what happens to those plans. So I'll show that clip in just a second.
Russell? Strange when you put me on these babies. You know what happened? I put on 20 pounds of pure, unadulterated blitz the quarterback and rip his head off. Russell.
Well, this is Russ Thompson, and so obviously he said his son was apparently cut from the football team, so he did not take this news well. So he's being as nice and kind as he possibly could. So he is trying to get his son to bulk up a little bit. So now he gets those rusty weights. So he tries to pick them up, and now apparently maybe he can't lift the solid oak either. So he may struggle with that. So maybe this machine would be a good thing because maybe it can help him actually move those weights. So so this is Russ Thompson, and like I said, he is getting his family ready for a fishing trip and apparently wanting to bulk up his son. So I think his plans are about to get shrunk. So now Wayne Zelinsky is at his wonderful meeting on a Saturday, so he gets to pitch his idea. So I will show that clip in just a second. I'm sure these are very, very nice people that he will be pitching to. So I will show that scene in just a second.
And fuel supplies, savings to the space program would be staggering.
Mr. Zelensky, are you trying to tell me that suddenly size is no longer relative?
Well, that's right, Professor Frederickson, that all matter is made up of not only density, but of empty space. And if we can proportionally reduce the amount of empty space in any given object, we can thereby shrink the object.
Uh-huh. Where's your proof?
Well, well, this is the wonderful conference on Saturday. So obviously, this is pretty much in a room full of people that would probably love going to MamaCon. So he pitches the idea, and then what the one guy says is he managed to shrink one thing, and that is the size of the audience. So nobody really likes his idea. They really need to see proof. And he does pick Einstein of saying he did give the idea of the atomic bomb, but nobody wanted to see proof then. I think they took their chances. So so he pretty much pitched the idea, and like I said, he got laughed at. So now, does the machine work? Well, Nick and Russ already were evidence that this machine works. So maybe he should have just now, if he had a smartphone, he could have just went to his house to see, to show them the machine, and then it accidentally zapping his child and next door neighbor. So but of course he didn't know that was going to happen. So the baseball already went through the window and hit the machine. So now Amy and little Russ Thompson are now up there, and they're about to experience the zapping of this machine. So this movie does have lasers, so this might actually attract Generation Boring. Yes, there are lasers in this movie, so that might attract them. So now I will show the next clip in just a second. Well, they are now shrunk, so now they are little. So of course Amy asks the dumb question. She must have had a blonde moment. So she asked where they are. Well, obviously you're in your attic. You're just looking at it from a different view. So yes, the other two children are up there. Then later on, they kind of run to them. They see the chair and the couch are also with them. So after the meeting, obviously, Wayne is a little bit upset. So, but now before Wayne goes up there, the ball does fall off, and it must have fallen off when he was running up the stairs. So don't worry, Wayne does not go missing. But his children apparently they might want to dodge those shoes because he's not a very large man, but to them he's a giant, and he does almost step on them. So he almost crushed his own children. So the since the ball did go off the machine, now Wayne is in no danger of getting shrunk. So he does not put the two and two together. He sees the broken window, he sees the ball, but he then later on he hits his head on something and then decides to smash his machine since he's angry about his little meeting. So now, even if he wants to, now he can't um, bring the kids back when he eventually finds out that they are shrunk. So now he makes a mess, so he has to use a broom to sweep up. There's a little problem. His kids are on that floor. So let's find out what happens to them. In a little while, I will sweep to that scene right now. Well, there's no capes or lasers in this scene, but I do happen to like how the visuals are actually pretty cool because it's not really a CG type of thing. Everything looks it actually looks real. Like it looks like those are actually screws. It's not. It doesn't look like some cheap cartoon kind of thing. So the special effects are pretty, in my opinion, they are impressive. Um, so they are swept up and they are actually thrown into a garbage can. And it's like I said, even the bag, it actually does look like they are getting dumped into a real bag. So, so then he takes the trash out, and then they take a little piece of glass. They rip the bag open, and they are just in the backyard, but it looks like a jungle. So they tend to climb up one of the flowers and try to signal to their dog, but the cat interferes. And now they're about to be. Nick is about to go flying. Let's just say. So I will show that clip in just a second. Well, he gets picked up by a bee. This is what happens when he's playing around in flower pollen. So now this to me looks like a lot of fun. I might be dizzy afterwards, but it looks like a blast to be riding on a bumblebee. Nick is not having a good time, however, so he does get thrown off of it eventually, and he is fine. He just brushes himself off. He sneezes a little bit because he's allergic to pollen. So moving on. So Wayne does finally put the two and two together, and he figures out after he's done um, trying to hit the bee with a baseball bat and make it angry. He decides to go upstairs when he figures out his son doesn't play baseball, and he sees the ball. He steps on his chair. He hears it. He actually hears it crunch. So then he crawls on the floor, and then he finally figures out, hey, I may have swept them into the garbage. So I will show that scene in just a second. Well, I think his the face that he makes in this scene are priceless. So he's obviously he figured out that he may have swept them up. Does he know for sure? No. But then when he goes outside and he sees the cut in the bag, he sees the slice. Then he realizes that yep, they got in the garbage, and he put them there. So now he manages to make another little mistake here coming up. I will show the clip in a second, but he realizes when he steps on the grass that he might want to be very careful when he does that because he might be stepping on one of his children. The neighbors he can kind of live without. But anyway, so he jumps on the chain fence, and then he manages to move over to his wooden fence, and the neighbors do see him and they don't know what to think. I would just laugh. And Russ has his unnecessary huge water skis that he's going to be taking to his camping trip, and I think he's packing a lot for just a weekend. But they could be going for a week. I don't know. This movie did come out in the summer, so so now Mr. Solinsky here is making contraptions to try to find his children and his really annoying neighbors. In the backyard. So I will show that clip in just a second.
You forgot where you left off.
No, now I got it. Well, this was there's a couple things wrong here. First, maybe he should just find a different way to do this because those little crutches that he has, it really looks like that he's putting a lot of pressure on that ground. So he's so afraid of stepping on them. Those crutches could really do some damage too. And the other thing is he not only first he made the machine that zapped them, then shrunk them to pretty much the size of Rob Gronkowski's brain. Oh, I'm sorry, it's might be smaller than that. Um, and then the other thing he does is he sweeps them up, and then he decides to let's turn the sprinkler on. He almost drowns poor Amy. So he's almost killed his children a few times already, and this movie's only been on for 30 minutes. So
Oh, I just video.
okay, well we're not keeping track on that yet. So, anyways, I do have contraption number 2 ready, and this is a close to 90s movie, and I do consider the 80s and 90s the contraption era. So I will show his second contraption in just a second. Well, this is contraption number 2, and this has to be amusing for the rest of the neighborhood. How are more people just pulling over and just kind of watching this? Because I would be very entertained. This is better than Saturday morning cartoons. So anyway, so this is the wonderful Wayne who is looking for his kids, I guess, in a more creative way. Uh, I guess. So now you're probably wondering, well, why hasn't the cops been called for these missing children? Since the only one that knows that they're shrunk is Wayne. Well, the Thompsons finally do call the cops, but what Big Russ Thompson is mad about is that he lost his $80 deposit on his wonderful camping trip. His friend came by and he canceled his camping trip with his friend. So now he's a little steamed. And you are gonna love the wallpaper decor in the Thompson's house. The big tough Russ Thompson has probably a very cheesy looking wallpaper scene. So I find this incredibly funny since this is the first time I noticed it. So I will show you that in just a second.
Anything?
Russell!
Why do I feel like I'm the one on trial here?
Can you imagine, dear?
What do you mean you can't imagine?
Well, I think we have enough to get started. Please give us a call if you hear from the boys.
Well, this is Russ kind of giving or Big Russ, sorry, the father, Russ. So he is obviously giving the cops a little bit of lip here. And again, don't you just love the wallpaper? It looks like something Richard Simmons would pick out. So he is not exactly real happy. He pretty much has yes, he has his underwear way up his butt. He is mad. He is absolutely disgusted in everything the cops say. He just pretty much just keeps yelling at them, and his wife is also getting very annoyed. So now Mrs. Zelinsky did also call the cops because they're actually going right next door to talk to them about their missing children. So the cops do go next door, and his wife actually called, and then he says that our kids are in the backyard, and then she faints because shortly before Wayne told her that her kids were not missing; they're just shrunk. So, so now the final scene I'm going to show is their little sleeping arrangement here, which I actually forgot about. So, and we also get to meet the only aunt that I've ever liked. So we get to see that scene in just a second.
Think they'll be warm enough?
They look fun to me.
Well, this is the ant, and if you're wondering what they are in, this is one of Nick's Legos. So, you know, he really might want to be careful with his toys because earlier in the movie, he was missing one of his toy dinosaurs as well. And these are not good things for a lawnmower. I know from experience. My dad cut up quite a few of my toys that I left in the backyard, and let's just say he wasn't thrilled about running over the Wicked Witch of the West. That was the Wicked Witch, right? I was it the was it?
Which one has got the house living on? I don't got it.
I don't remember either. I only know the Wicked Witch was run over by a lawnmower, and as I had the whole set. Okay, yes, I had the whole set of the Wizard of Oz figures when I was a kid. So I know that yes, parents. So yes, so I know from experience that running stuff over with the lawnmower is not a fun experience. Oh, Minnie Mouse also got her head run over too. So yes, Siskel and Ebert did review this movie. So I will hear their wonderful opinion of nonsense before I give you mine. Only mine will not be nonsense. Oh, and something I would like to add is, if my cousins watch this, I meant insect ants. I did not mean. I did not mean my relative ants. I meant the insect when I said the only ant that I liked. So yes, this is the only insect ant that I actually like, and it's an animatronic. Again, not a CG piece of garbage. So I will show the Siskel, the Grouch, and King of the Toilet Chair in just a second.
His experiment goes wrong, and honey, I shrunk the kids.
The machine works. Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know. Next movie is named Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and it tells the story of a suburban scientist played by Rick Moranis who invents a new machine that would be able to shrink things down to microscopic size if only he could get it to work. One day a neighborhood kid hits a baseball through the window and it bounces off the machine, it deflects the laser beam somehow, and suddenly the invention works all too well, shrinking both of Moranis' kids and two neighbor kids until they're smaller than an ant. They're almost invisible, and they get thrown out with the garbage. Yard turns into a jungle for them, and life is terrifying when a bee takes two of the kids on a wild ride. Best sight gag is when Moranis almost eats his own son for breakfast.
Just gotta keep our eyes open.
As you can see from those clips, the special effects in this movie are really well done. The movie essentially takes us to the same world as such films as The Incredible Shrinking Man, which came out in 1957, and so you can see that movie special effects have made a lot of progress since then. This movie demonstrates that. The blades of grass look like palm trees, there's a friendly ant that looks amazingly realistic, and so forth. Unfortunately, the movie's storytelling ability is not equal to the special effects. For me, this is the same problem as with Batman. There's not much of a sense of fun in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Not enough silliness and wild imagination. And when they do get a good idea, like having Moranis suspend himself above the backyard to circle around looking for the kids, they let it run on so long we get tired of it. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids looks good, but it's a disappointment.
I don't even know if it looks good. For me, it came out of that old white bread environment of the old Disney live action films, which I thought was quite boring, and I started to see it come back in this way. The people didn't seem to me to be very bright for kids. I mean, I would have thought that if they had been placed in this actual situation, that the dialogue between the kids would have been a lot sharper and smarter. For example, they're mowing the kids are now real tiny, right? They're in the grass. They're mowing the lawn. All right, now they're running away from the lawnmower. Well, once the lawnmower passes you, it would seem logical to me that you say, hey, look, the grass is cut, let's go there now, and we can walk more quickly. There isn't that kind of interchange. Kids are that smart.
You're right, Gene, and on a larger level, they don't have any master plan. Like, here we are, what can we do?
Right.
I mean,
but that's what kids would do.
Yeah, once they're in the grass, they just walk around and adventures happen to them, so that they're not trying to figure out what they can do to save themselves.
And kids in the audience for whom this film is intended, I'm not just saying this as an adult, I'm saying kids are that sharp, they would be figuring out what they would do in that situation. This thing needed to be written with a much brighter cast of characters.
I think you're right. One more thing we ought to mention is that in its current release around the country, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is being accompanied by a color cartoon named Tummy Trouble. Now that shouldn't be news. In the old days, there was always a cartoon before the feature, but that was back before greed took over, and they didn't want to let you have that extra 6 minutes, get you out there and sell you some more popcorn and get you in again. No, nothing that you haven't actually paid for can possibly be shown to you. Tummy Trouble is a return engagement.
Well, this was their review of Nonsense, and I was right. It was actually worse than I thought. I thought that the Wild Imagination, I thought it was actually done well. I liked the part with the bee. The sprinklers I would have never thought about. I thought it was going to be all insects. I never thought about a lawnmower or even being in a bowl of Cheerios, which I forgot to mention to the audience. There was a. I'll mention that after I'm done with this junk here. So King of the Toilet Chair did not like it. What he said was just ridiculous. He was mad at the.
He did like the special effects, though.
He liked the special effects.
The other
yes,
guy didn't even like that.
that is true. Yes, Cisco the Grouch was extra grouchy today, so he must have lost his toupee or something like that, or maybe he lost another strand of hair. But he was not happy with it at all. He didn't even say it looked good. I thought it looked great, and I thought the imagination was fine. I thought the dialogue between the kids was iffy, but it wasn't awful. It was believable that two neighbors didn't like each other. So, what do you want them to do? Sing Kumbaya? It's just not going to work. And actually, I thought what they did to survive with the ant was very clever. They put lights on him. They used part of his dad's cigarette to light up the blades of grass or sticks or whatever it was. And then they also they climbed in the Lego, so they did a lot of things to survive in this movie, and they were also getting back to the house. So there was a plan there. The other obstacles you can't plan for You can't plan for wildlife. You don't know when it's going to show up. And then they were trying to get the dog's attention as well. So yeah, there were a lot of things that they said wrong. I think Ebert just ran out of snacks again, and he got mad. So or his toilet chair filled up and he couldn't empty it. So anyways, so to get back to my review, the part with the Cheerios was interesting because I read that I believe they used 1,600 gallons of a milk-like substance in like a huge swimming pool type of thing, and they put Nick in there. It's a good thing I wasn't in there. I would have a major allergy attack. And then they did actually use a real Cheerio for the scene. They just made it. I think they said it was as big as a tire. So that was something I actually read on IMDb. I could be wrong on the 1,600. It could be 16,000 gallons. I'm not really sure. Um, but this is something you can look up, and I found it interesting, so I thought I would throw it in there. But I saw this movie in theaters as a kid, so even the admission of the price was wrong. Yes, there was a little cartoon at the beginning of this as well. I don't know if it's in the DVD, but that was something that they did throw in the movies from time to time. Now they just don't do it anymore at all, and now you got to watch commercials in the theater. So this was a movie that I believe we saw twice in the movie theater because we enjoyed it and my parents enjoyed it. So they are wrong, wrong, and wrong. So and yes, my first crush was in this movie. I had a crush on Amy O'Neill. Sorry to say, it was just a harmless crush as a kid. I obviously didn't ask her out. She would have gotten arrested for that. So, and it was my brother's too. So I just ratted him out as well. So, so yes, this is a movie that I would recommend seeing. The grade that I am going to give this is a B plus. The special effects were good. I thought the acting was good. Some of the dialogue, whatever, but it is what it is. It's a kids movie. Um, and I thought the screenplay was fine. I thought the idea was good, so that is the reason for my B plus rating. And this is a movie you could watch as a family and enjoy as an adult. So yes, this is one that I highly recommend. I believe it is on Disney Plus. So subscribe if you want, comment below, and thank you for watching.